We're talking about the Packers and Lions, because, oh my goodness me, what are people going to be saying about Aaron Rodgers now? I believe, actually, I have a soundbite from Aaron Rodgers, and we'll bring that up right now. This was him post-game after getting eliminated from the playoffs and losing pretty badly to the Detroit Lions.
Where do you stand on what you want to do next year?
I mean, it's a little raw right now. It's just a little bit after the game, so want to take the emotion out of it and have the conversations and see where the organization's at and see how I feel after some time has passed.
Is there any sort of timetable with that? Is there like a date where you want to make your decision by? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to hold them hostage.
Do you think is the decision all yours, you think, or?
No, I don't think so. I think there's got to be mutual on both sides. Do I feel like I have anything left to prove to myself? Do I want to go back and gear up for another grind? Or is it time? Is it time to step away? Is it time for another voice to be leading this team? I have a lot of pride in what I've accomplished in this league, but I'm also realist, and I understand where we're at as a team. We're a young team. There could be some changes with some of the older guys, and it could be time to step away. But I could take some time and say, hell no, man, I need to get back out there and go on another run.
Has the organization indicated to you in any way whether they want you back or not? Or if they're not sure either, or is that based on your feeling?
It's just a feeling. Yeah, it's just a feeling. I think to assume it's a foregone conclusion, would be probably slightly egotistical. So I'm going to be a realist here and understand that there's a lot of different parts to this. And like I said, I was aware of, the possibility of them going young if we had gotten to a point where we're out of it. And I'm aware of that possibility as well. Wouldn't be, the best reality, but I know it's a possibility.
That was Aaron Rodgers at the end of the Lions game. He's manifesting his destiny now. He's getting all hopped up. He's probably going to go on another ayahuasca trip. He's going to go down to probably who knows where he's going to travel to this time. But the way he looked at the end of the game, pushing cameras away and keeping his jersey. He actually explained that, saying, some games, it's a Sunday night game. Some jerseys you just want to keep a hold on to. Hugging Randall Cobb, talking to Randall Cobb, who he wanted back the past couple of years. Do you think this could be Rodgers' last season with the Packers, or even his last season in the NFL?
Maybe his last season with the Packers, although, he's owed $100 million guaranteed. So some teams have to look really hard and want him really bad in order to pay that kind of money.
Right.
For a trade. I do think he will be back. I don't think he's going to retire. Nobody's going to walk away from $100 million. Not Aaron Rodgers or anyone. He's going to sit back and think after he's had a chance to lick his wounds from losing that game, which he should have won. That, you know what? I want that $50 million. So I'm going to come back. That's what I think is going to happen, Nate.
How would you because we've seen this in three straight years. When it comes to an elimination game, you had the championship game against the Bucks. You had the divisional game against the 49ers. And now you have the make or break game against the Lions. We've seen Aaron Rodgers late in the game completely fall apart. He scored, I believe, what is it? I think the Packers have only scored, let's see here. Yeah,
they scored 14 points in that game on Sunday night.
Scored
16.
16.
20 to 16. Yeah.
In the fourth quarter, I believe the Packers in these elimination games have scored a total of 6 points across 3 games. They have not played well at all, and Aaron Rodgers
did he throw
has
the
not played well.
interception in the
in
at
fourth
the end
quarter?
of the game
Yeah,
in the fourth quarter?
Yeah. So, and it was a bad interception too. It was not a good one. He actually had one earlier in the game where it got called back because it's the Lions and they had like a penalty or something like that, and that got called back. They also had a touchdown that got called back due to a penalty.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think if they want to trade him, there'll be a lot of interest. And I think he's still, he doesn't look old out there. I mean, he's pretty mobile.
Yeah.
And he has an arm. I mean, he flicks his wrist and the ball goes 50 yards.
It's weird, though, too, because he does it from his back foot. Quarterbacks step into a throw. He steps back and throws it,
Yeah.
and then it goes 45, 50 yards
I
in the
know.
air.
So he's a talent. There's no doubt about that. He still has a lot of talent. He could still play at a very high level. A lot of teams would be interested if the Packers wanted to trade him.
Right.
And maybe the Packers, I doubt they'd want to take money back in order to say goodbye to him.
Right.
Because, they had a funny season. They started out terrible.
They start off really low,
Yeah.
and then they all of a sudden have a chance to make it to the playoffs after
And then
Rodgers.
They blow
the
a
defense
game
played well.
against the Lions
Twice.
at home.
Twice they
At
blew 2
home.
games
And the
against
Lions didn't play well either.
No.
They didn't play well. Jared Goff didn't play well in that game. The cold weather, I think, affected him.
Yeah, Jared Goff is a problem in cold weather. But Aaron Rodgers in this game, in the fourth quarter, 2 of 6, 12 yards, 1 pick, a passer rating of 2.6 on a scale of 0 to 158.3. He did not play well, and he hasn't played well. And in the playoffs, he hasn't played well, especially when it comes down to, in the fourth quarter, needing to come back, needing to take the lead, being the elite transcendental quarterback that we all say he is. He's a back-to-back MVP. Imagine if Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, if they were back-to-back, Brady, if they were back-to-back MVPs, and then they throw a dud in the next 3, if they throw a dud in 3 seasons, 2 of which they were the MVP for, what would their criticism be? Throw in Lamar Jackson for that, because I've been critical of Lamar.
Well, in the last 2 seasons, one of the games he was playing in the NFC Championship game.
That was his first one, against Brady. He went 4 of
And then
11,
he was
54
playing in
yards.
it was a divisional playoff game in the second one, right?
Yep, against the snowy game in Lambeau.
It's not like they were, they were one and done in those 2 years.
No, in the 49ers one, they were 1 and done. Because they were divisional. Divisional game.
Okay, so they had a good enough record to get a bye.
They got the bye, and then the first game, Aaron Rodgers in the fourth quarter did not play well, though. 4 of 7, 17 yards.
Those 2 years, the team did well most of the season, right?
And he even said this in the interview, which I didn't cut because it was like a minute and a half. It was a 20-minute interview, and I only cut it down to a minute and a half. He said that the loss of Devontae Adams was huge for them. They just could not get it going. But I think it's in large part due. Aaron Rodgers in the offseason does not stay dedicated. He goes on vacations and he does ayahuasca trips. He does all these things when then you have brand new receivers, and we saw it. The Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, they just couldn't connect with Aaron Rodgers. And now you had a perfect opportunity when you were technically, statistically still in, but it was like a 10% chance, 8% chance. Put Jordan Love in. You don't think Jordan Love, I have the game right here. You don't think Jordan Love could have gone 4 of 12 on third down? You don't think he could have done that?
I don't know.
You don't think Jordan Love could go 1 of 2 on fourth down? The past couple times we've seen Jordan Love, we've seen him like 2 or 3 times. In this season, when he played, was it the Eagles? Whatever game he came into, I'm not too sure off the top of my head. He looked good, and we're hearing reports coming out of the practices. He's looking much better. This is a perfect opportunity because you need to pay him or get rid of him in this offseason to figure out if Jordan Love can play at the NFL level during an NFL game, keeping up with NFL speed. And you throw away an opportunity like this, and now you have Aaron Rodgers manifesting his destiny.
I think the money had something to do with it, and the fact that they weren't out of it. They weren't never technically out of it, right? They had a chance to get into the playoffs, and they were paying him $50 million to be their quarterback. So, and he was playing better. He played a lot better the last 6-7 weeks. So that's why. That's why you haven't seen Jordan Love.
I think at some point, I would say eat it. Your organization needs work anyway.
No, they may try to trade him. Maybe they're going to try to trade him.
Rip the Band-Aid off. Aaron Rodgers. Here's the thing, though. He mentioned not holding this organization hostage. Yes, he has, because he's threatened retirement over the past 3-4 seasons. And then everyone's saying, Aaron Rodgers, no. What do you want? Please come back. We'll give you Randall Cobb like you asked for. We can't bring Jordy Nelson back. We can't bring back Donald Driver. But we have Randall Cobb here. You want 2 great running backs? Here, we'll draft A.J. Dillon for you. We have Aaron Jones. You want Devontae Adams? First chance he got to get out of there, he left because he didn't want to deal with Aaron Rodgers' commitment, threatening retirement. The first chance he got the hell out of Dodge. And now you look at Aaron Rodgers here saying, "Oh well, I'm gonna take a step back and really take the emotion out of it and give me a break." Aaron Rodgers. This has nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers' talent. Aaron Rodgers is still a very, very talented quarterback. It's just when it comes to staying dedicated, he's not there. He's not there, and he doesn't do great with relationships. He has a very small circle, which there's no real problem with having a small circle of people. You know, it's just the way Aaron Rodgers goes about. He's a different type of person when it comes to the rest of the NFL. He's just a different type of player.
Yeah,
but that's not like in the playoffs. He won that one Super Bowl, and you can never take that away from him. That's something that'll always stay there. He had that one Super Bowl run. Since then, in the playoffs, he's been terrible. Terrible. And this time, you can't say, the defense gave up so many points. They gave up 20 points. Oh, the special teams. Look at that. Block. No, none of that. It was Aaron Rodgers. Your play.
I still think he'll wind up being a Hall of Fame quarterback.
No, 1,000% he is. This is like Russell Westbrook. He's played horrible the past couple seasons, but he will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Can't shoot threes very well. Free throw percentage in the toilet. Aaron Rodgers, not great in the clutch, but the way he's played, the touchdown to interception ratio, which is huge. I think it's a large part why he won the MVP. He didn't throw that many
those
picks.
2 Hail Mary passes he completed a couple of years ago.
The very, very famous Hail Marys he's thrown. The way he's played, yes, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer for sure. But when it comes to the biggest games, he doesn't really show up. He's won 4 MVP awards. He got robbed on the last one. He led the league in touchdown interception ratio, QBR by 1 point, and then passer rating by I think 8 points. Brady had more yards, more touchdowns, more throws, more attempts, and everything like that.
Brady's the one that got ripped off on that.
He got ripped off. And Mahomes actually has about the same stats as Brady did last year, but he'll obviously win because no one has that argument. But Rodgers has not played that well. He got outplayed by Jared Goff, who has gotten disrespected. He got kicked out of Los Angeles, comes into Detroit. The Detroit team wasn't great, goes 3-13, I think, or 3-14. He comes back, plays really well this season. Their defense they had the 32nd ranked defense, and guess what? In the 2 games combined, they had horrible defenses in both those games. In 2 games combined, you put up 25 points. 25 in 2 games against the 32nd ranked defense. And this is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Back-to-back MVP.
I think the Lions up-and-coming team.
Absolutely.
They have a lot of good young players, and Jared Goff I think he's a good quarterback.
It's hard to say because
they wound up with a winning record. They wound up at 9-8.
They did. And
they could have made the playoffs if the Rams could have beaten the Seahawks.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield, by the way, was second to last in QBR. If it wasn't for Anthony Brown having like a 6, I have it here. Yeah, Anthony Brown had a 6.1 QBR scale.
Who's Anthony Brown?
He was the 3rd-string Baltimore Ravens quarterback because Tyler Huntley couldn't go. Lamar, he's out. He seemingly, we're going to talk about this probably on Friday. He may return for this playoff game. Who exactly knows? But yeah, Baker Mayfield, 10.1, second to last. But Rodgers, there's no excuse for this game. There's no excuse, really. And Christian Watson, this may be a hot take. You know what? I'll take it. The way Christian Watson has emerged, especially as a rookie, 6'5", runs a 4.3. I'd put him over DJ Moore. I would put him over.
He's had some drops this year.
Very early on. But I think he ended the year with only 3 drops. He had those 2 very, very early on. I think he might have had 1 more down the line. But the Packers probably will lose Alan Lazard. He looks like he's out there. He sort of mentioned that this was probably his last year as a Green Bay Packer. Randall Cobb may retire. He's getting up there in age. You still have really two really good running backs. Your offensive line had a bit of an issue this year with injuries. David Bakhtiari in and out of the lineup, mostly out of the lineup though. Romeo Doubs, the young receiver, Christian Watson. I'd put him over DJ Moore and Michael Pittman Jr. I just think what we'll see if Aaron Rodgers plays with these. Let's say he stays, because I think, you know what. It's hard to say because the way he was acting at the end of the game, it could just be him, reflecting, and he might go on that. He went on some sort of weird meditation, this sort of cleanse towards the end of the offseason last year. Maybe he needs one of those. Maybe he needs another one of those. Or you know what?
Give the guy a break a little bit. I mean, it has been a long season.
It has been a long season.
It's a disappointing loss at the end, so he's feeling a little down. But I think once he has time to recover and his bruises heal, and he thinks about it, that $50 million is there for me. I've got a contract. In fact, it's $100 million over the next 2 years.
Right.
I'm going to suck it up and go get that money.
We will see, but I think Aaron Rodgers may stay. It's just the question of whether or not he stays in Green Bay. But
Right.
then a team needs to take on Aaron Rodgers and maybe some of that contract.
Yeah, it
Most
might
of
be
that
fun to
contract.
watch him play for another team. He's always been with
Maybe.
the Packers.
Maybe. But like you said, it's mutual. We'll see. I think it's time for the Packers to rip the Band-Aid off and move on from him. But that's me.